All right, welcome to the Officer Tatum Show. I'm your special guest host, Carl Jackson, filling in for the Officer Tatum once again. I want to thank him for the privilege of sitting behind his microphone. The number to call into the studio is 844-900-7243, 844-900-7243. So it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a fun evening. I hope you have your sneakers on. You are in for some conservative cardio, no doubt. I want to thank Forgotten Man. I want to thank Sean McConnell in my ear. I don't know who's working the phones tonight. I want to thank Lou that's got my back right here in the studio in Orlando, theanswerorlando.com. It's, again, an honor to be here. All right, so let's, I want to get into, you guys may recall that it is the 1 year anniversary, an anniversary that we really don't want to be celebrating, but it's very important that we remember the Kabul attack. What happened in Kabul just a year ago when the world looked at the United States and they saw us for the first time in quite some time as a paper tiger. 13 servicemen attacked, killed, murdered by terrorists. The Biden administration, a complete and utter debacle on the world stage. Our allies even looked at us, and for the first time, they started to believe what Trump was saying all along, former President Trump. Oh, my goodness. And oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Thank you, Forgotten Man. I've got some material for you that I want to show you. For those of you that are watching on Salem News Channel, right before, these are some of the blacked out papers. These are some. Can you guys see that? Can you see that? These are the blacked out papers. I'm going paper after paper. These are the. It's hard to figure out the freaking camera angle. All right. So yeah, these are. That's smart. I mean, these are the blacked out papers, right? I mean, just one after the other. It's an absolute and utter joke. It was a general warrant. Anyway, we'll get into that shortly. But thank you, Forgotten Man, for printing that out for me. All right, but going back to Kabul, going back to the attack there, I want you to understand what happened. That was the day that America fell. That was the day that America fell. That was the day that, sadly, the world looked at America and said, man, America isn't what it used to be. It's the day that Iran looked at America and said, America isn't what they used to be. We can take advantage of America again. It's the day that Xi Jinping looked at America and said the same thing. It's the day that Vladimir Putin looked at America and said, Ukraine, I think that's doable. This is what happened just a year ago. 13 servicemen died. Was it Dover's Air Force Base where Biden was checking his watch as the bodies came home? Unbelievable. 1 year. Here's Senator Tom Cotton. I want you to hear what Senator Tom Cotton has to say about it. Audio clip number 6, por favor, Sean.
Another example of President Biden's disgraceful weakness that is threatening us not just in Afghanistan, but all around the world. Today is the 1 year anniversary of the tragic suicide bombing in Afghanistan that killed 13 of our brave troops, hundreds of innocent civilians. One of those Marines had ties to Arkansas, Taylor Hoover. I remember meeting his family last year at the memorial service for him. I want to offer my prayers, my condolences to all those we lost and their families and their loved ones. This is a tragedy, but it was also more than a tragedy, Brian. As you point out, it was a strategic disorder or disaster of the first order. And I explain in my book, Only the Strong, there's a reason why Vladimir Putin began building up troops on Ukraine's border just a few weeks after the debacle in Afghanistan. It all goes back to Joe Biden and the way he projects weakness. That weakness was on display most notably in Afghanistan.
And you're not going to get a lot of people talking about this. You're not going to get a lot of news outlets talking about this. But it's important that we remember, and it's important that we talk about it as Republicans, as conservatives. It's important that we remember the dead. But it's also important to remember the damage that the Biden White House has done to the United States of America, because we became a joke on that day, in my opinion. I'm sad to say it's true. America isn't the America that it was, and we're fighting to get that America back. But guys, I got to tell you, I talked about this on my podcast this morning, and I want to share it again. I wasn't sure that I wanted to talk about this again, but I need to, because I need to put some fire under the behinds of Republicans. And I say that lovingly, but it's true. I thought that we would. You guys have heard me on air. You've heard me say there's going to be a red wave. There's going to be a red wave. Now, I got to tell you that I believe that is true for the House. But I'm no longer convinced that we're even going to get the numbers that I thought we might get for the House. I hope that I'm wrong. I pray to God that I'm wrong. A lot of this is going to depend on you. A lot of this is going to depend on how active you become. That's just the way it is. I want to share with you. This was an article from AM Greatness written by Eric Lindrum. I believe Lindrum. I'm sorry. I believe he works on Sebastian Gorka's staff as well. But it's entitled, "Yes, Republicans are blowing the midterms." So don't think the Republicans have the midterms in the bags. Don't think that we have the midterms in the bags. We don't. You guys might sense, just as I do, that we don't have the same mood. We don't have the same fervor. We don't have the same fight that we had just a few weeks ago. Have you guys noticed that? Am I the only one that has noticed that? I think Mitch McConnell, no doubt, threw a little water on the fire when it comes to our senatorial candidates. By the way, get out and support them. Make sure you donate. Herschel Walker and Georgia. We got Ron Johnson. We've got Blake Masters. I'm forgetting some. Make sure you go out and support them. Marco Rubio right here in Florida is in a tougher race than I think many people expected. So get out and support these candidates. But again, I think Senator Minority Leader Mitch McConnell threw some water on the fire. And I really do believe that it's dampened some spirits. But beyond that, I think Republicans, as usual, have a messaging problem. I'm looking at Joe Biden. Literally transferring. Oh my God. I'm literally transferring wealth from the poor to the rich. That's his goal. He doesn't even have the constitutional authority to do so. But the Congress is so feckless and weak. They're not going to stop him, especially with Nancy Pelosi in office. She even admitted as much. This guy doesn't have the authority. The president doesn't have the authority to forgive debt. That's Congress's job. Congress controls the purse. She obviously changed her mind. But I just want to make sure that the fire stays underneath every single Republican. You feel the fire and the importance of this election. We were expecting a red wave. And I hope that it's going to happen in the House. I'm no longer convinced that it's going to happen in the Senate unless we get out and fight like hell. And it's going to take that. You guys have to understand that every couple of years, or every midterm cycle, I should say, every midterm cycle, the election typically goes against the incumbent party. Right. So Biden is in office. So this is normal. What we experience every couple of years, or every midterm, I should say, not every couple of years, but during the midterm elections, are normally the party that's in charge is the party that loses. And I think as Republicans, we kind of banked on that. And we looked at the prices of gas, and we looked at inflation, and we're sitting there and we're thinking as Republicans, people are feeling this. People are hurting. They're going to turn against the Democrat Party, and we're going to ride this puppy all the way to the election. But and then what happens when gas prices start coming down and Republicans can't explain it? What happens when, although people are feeling the pain at the pump, you have Democrats coming out and lying every day and saying that, hey, we've got your back. Just look at the gas prices. Things are getting better. Things are going to get better. You reelect us. Things are going to get even better than they are now. You look at the Democrat Party and they say, hey, guess what, college students? $10,000 worth of debt gone. $20,000 worth of debt gone. And Republicans are left saying, oh, wait a minute. Inflation, high gas prices, Well, Democrats just took care of that. To many, to their voting base. The vast majority of people that are going to be forgiven college loan debt are going to be white liberals. 1/3 of them live in the D.C., Virginia area. It's their base. They're buying their base. And Republicans are left flat-footed.